Hey guys, Mark from the GAK.co.uk Guitar Shop podcast here. Just dropped in at the beginning of the podcast to remind you all that if you want the inside scoop on any news or any deals that we've got going on at the shop, do follow us on Twitter at GAK_co_UK. You can also follow the podcast guys individually. You can follow me at Mark_random. You can follow Matt at Matt_Knightsey. You can follow Jay at GAAYBN1. And you can follow Joe at Joseph_900. Hello and welcome to the GAK.co.uk Guitar Shop podcast. I am your host Mark Packham, who is with me this evening.
Hello. Whoa. Packham pointed at me.
No, I didn't. I just pointed in that general direction
because
I forgot which one it was.
Last week I went first.
Yeah.
Who's with me this evening?
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm the assistant manager here in the guitar store.
Hello, my name's Matt and I am the manager.
Hello, and I'm Joe and I'm here for bass-related incidents.
Incidents?
They're getting worse every week, the intro.
Or better. Why is it getting worse?
Yeah, or better.
Can we just cut and paste this from a previous week?
Yeah, the whole podcast.
Yeah. I went to listen to the the podcast that I listen to on like a regular basis. That I listen to a few, but the one I really like listening to is the Freakonomics podcast.
Yeah.
Which is
I thought you meant one that we'd done.
No,
the one I like listening to.
I really like episode 32. I just thought we had an excellent rhetoric going on.
No, I really like listening to the Freakonomics podcast. It's really cool. It's kind of about loosely applying economic theory to like a day-to-day basis on like kind of interesting things. I realise that having done an economics degree, I'm somewhat perhaps at a more like a different opinion to this to everyone else. But the podcast is really good and it's really funny. But I haven't listened to it for like about a month or so, and I looked and I went to download them, and all 4 of the last 4 are rebroadcasts from a year or so ago. I think we're missing a trick. Maybe we should give ourselves a week off.
Just be like, oh yeah, no.
So no, guys, we're taking
vintage GAK podcast.
We're taking time out to like research the next one. So this is a rebroadcast.
Do you remember the first Simpsons clip show was called "It's Finally Come to This"? A Simpsons clip show. Maybe that's what we should do. It's finally come to this. Anyway, how is everyone? All right?
Yeah, good.
Wonderful.
Good. Joe, you've been at Arctangent Festival this weekend.
I have.
Did you see any good stuff? Much guitar nerdery going on?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's
math, so
exactly. There are definitely more effect pedals there than all the guitar shops in the UK put together. But it was really good. Some really interesting.
There's only one guitar shop in the UK. What are you talking about?
That is true. I forgot about that. Well, more effect pedals than we have or could shake a stick at this festival. So yeah, lots of really interesting stuff. A lot of 2-pieces there this year.
Really?
Yeah, sort of guitar and drums 2-pieces, which meant there were a lot of 7 strings and or
micropogs.
Yeah, micropogs and people running
classic
through bass cabs, which was really interesting. Saw some the band Cleft, who are being generally considered to be the best thing there, despite being a massive underdog of the festival, making excellent use of the Digitech Time Bender.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
The sadly departed Time Bender.
Yeah.
They're just gone now.
All gone, right?
Yeah, all gone.
I don't know. Haven't we got one left?
Well, maybe we got one, but yeah, they're discontinued.
That pedal's absolutely banging.
Yeah, they were great. And then there was, a highlight was Baby Godzilla, who you've heard of bands.
You've heard of Godzilla.
You know Godzilla. You've heard of babies. Baby Godzilla.
That is exactly what this is like. But of course, you've heard of bands like stage diving whilst playing guitar. These guys took it to the next level by having their Marshall 1960 412 on a really long speaker cable and sending the cab into the audience, followed by their guitarist, who then got on top of it whilst people carried it around in the crowd. He was crowd surfing whilst playing on a cab.
The only time I've seen something similar to that, I saw a band called the Beatsteaks, who they sent a Hiscox hard case out into the crowd and then surfed along that right the way to the back. And also when I went to see Anna Managuchi last year, who are like a weird sort of 8-bit, retro computer game sounding band, part of their lighting rig detached and was on a big cable, and they were just passing it round the audience.
That's amazing.
It was
That's
pretty
very cool.
incredible. But the 412 went out, but the 412 was still plugged in.
Yeah, that's right. So it was making noise the whole way around. Had a little mic clipped onto it, a little wireless mic as well. So it was actually the feed that the audience were getting, which was mental.
That's absolutely bonkers.
But, some good stuff. There was a band called the Year of No Light, who are supposed to be in the top
Sounds
10
dark.
loudest bands in the world. So they were 3 guitars. Sorry, you were making a.
I made a good joke, but no one heard it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think three or 4 guitars, a bass player, and 2 drummers, and they played 3 songs in their 45-minute set.
Sounds
Too many.
That sounds awful.
Maybe 6-7 chords were hit in total across that time. It was just lots of sustain, and everyone had a Les Paul.
Just the ultimate doom.
Yeah, it was just pure doom. But yeah, it was a great festival.
Did you see Sun when they played Brighton?
I didn't know, but I've watched lots of video clips
yeah,
of them. I
couldn't
really
go,
want
I
to see
wanted
them.
to see him.
When Sparky, who used to work in the shop, went, and he said it was the weirdest experience ever, because it's not only a sound experience, it's like a body experience, 'cause it's so loud.
They have a
Like,
PA
it just-
at the front and the back.
Yeah.
don't they?
Well, only at that one. They did it in what they call quadraphonic sound. So they had 2 PA. Oh, they didn't have 2 PA speakers, but they had they had the many. They had the PA was pointing from all 4 corners of the room out
Amazing.
into the.
But
out into
apparently
the crowd.
it's so loud that
Yeah.
your body
Yeah,
actually...
you feel it, don't you? You feel
Yeah.
it vibrating. Well, I think for people that don't know, Sun use, I don't know, approximately maybe 15 810s. Would that be overshooting?
There's a guy who just plays a Moog synthesizer that goes through 2 8x10s.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he went through 4 8x10s.
So good.
The Moog went through, if I remember correctly, because they released the stage plan got leaked before that tour, and I think it was 4. I think the Moog was going through 4 8x10s. One guitar was going through 4 4x12s and an 8x10.
They use Ampeg SVT Classics as well, even for the guitars.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. So
300
it
watt
was,
valve.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it was one of the guitars was going through 4. I think it was 4 Marshall 4x12s and an Ampeg 8x10, and then the other guitarist was going through 2 Boogie 4x12s and 2 Ampeg 8x10s. So they're just absolute. It's just absolute insanity.
Yeah, mentalist. They all dress like druids as well. Which
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still... I don't know whether we can get them or not, whether they're just America, because they're named after the brand Sun.
Yeah.
Which, going back to last week when I was talking about the Fall Out Boy rig rundown that I saw, that Joe Troman was using.
Was he?
one.
I think
Because
they're.
I do
I
like
didn't
a
know
hun-
Sun was still in
Yeah,
existence.
I don't think
they're
they still
owned by,
exist.
They're owned by Fender.
Okay.
Are they?
Yeah,
No, but they were, because you had the Sun Mustang guitars, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or basses,
I
rather.
think they're still owned by Fender.
I-
I don't know whether they're actually still making
they were
anything or
almost
not.
an alternative to Squier originally.
I'm
As a
just
guitar
doing a quick
manufacturer.
Google now. Keep talking about Sun, and I'll.
Well, actually, it led me on to just another kind of weird tie-in, which was someone brought in today orange Squier Strat, but not an orange in colour, as in terms in orange, the amp brand, when they did guitars that were built through Squier.
Oh, that's
What?
I never,
Yeah.
never ever knew
Wow.
that happened.
So just
So
doing a
weird.
quick
So
bit
what
of.
colour was it?
Black.
Was it actually black? Yeah. That's so weird. Just a quick one on Sun. Sun amps are indeed owned by Fender, but they are no longer in production. There's a website up that does technical support and manuals and stuff like that, but they're not making them.
They're super sought after, I think, the old Model Ts and stuff, because they're really loud. And
Well, a lot of that
booming.
technology, along with the Gens Ben stuff, they've kind of folded into the Fender bass amp range. You look at things like the Super Bassman, a lot of that technology, I think, has come from the acquisition of Sun and Gens Benz. And,
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
right.
they're a really good. I mean, we talk about them a bit on here, but I think if you're after a big valve amp these days, the Bassman head that's out at the moment is probably the one to go for. It's
we kind of said, I put up a picture of the 3 big boy heads that we kind of generally speak in stock, and I think everyone agreed that probably the best one out of the 3 sort of 300 watters, which would be the Ampeg SVT Classic, the
8200.
well, the 8200 we didn't count, I think, because it is a 200 watt, but I think the 8200 is easily the best one you can get. But out of the 300 watts, the Fender Super Bassman.
This is a debate we can get into another time, but I think for me it's either the 8200 if you want dark and boomy sounding, or the Super Bassman if you want bright and like punk bass sounds.
Fair enough. I mean, I think you see the 8200 on an awful lot of punky sort of bass setups. I mean, but the thing about Super Bassman is it offers you a lot more. You can choose to run your valves hotter to get a drivier tone, and there are lots and lots of switching options on it and lots of tonal things. And if you're into that, if you need to really mess around with that, then they're great. But if just for simplicity, the 8200s.
Maybe when we've got this new video room up and running that we've been talking about for a while, we could do a
ABCD.
Big amp shootout, or maybe just put the Bassman up against the 8200.
Yeah, they're definitely the best ones, aren't they?
Yeah, that'd be super loud. Any other news, gents, before we crack on with this week's topic?
Can I talk about this new Korg pedal or not?
You can talk about it. Let's not, because this isn't a serious topic, because you can't get it in this country, but I know you've been itching to talk about this.
The Korg Miku, based on a Japanese anime's voice. It's bizarre.
So explain. It's a fictitious pop star.
There's a fictitious pop star called Hatsumi Miku.
Where she's not actually a person. The voice is generated via software.
Yeah. So basically, there's Yamaha, and I don't think it really took off in here, but it's massive in Japan. Did some software called Vocaloid, which is a sampled woman's voice. And then you can type in lyrics.
Originate from a
it's an actual woman's voice that you can then type in lyrics, and then it sings it back in that kind of J-poppy kind of
sort of it's kind of generating the voice.
Yeah, and then they've done it in a pedal, so when you hit notes, it just makes.
So is it just vowels? Because in the demo you showed us,
I don't think so. I think there's phrases in there as well.
It's just triggering one phrase, I think, depending on where you have it set. Is that right?
Yeah,
but the phrase will obviously be delivered in the key desired.
Is it tracking notes, or is it?
The thing is that Korg have released seriously no information about this. I can find no Japanese forums talking about it, but plenty of ones in England, America, going, when will we get one? And everyone's like, I think it might be Japan only, but Joss, who works in the shop's got some friends in Japan, so maybe if I can source one.
Or if anyone listening to the podcast is from Japan, please get in touch. Matt wants to buy a Korg Miku, which isn't available here by the looks of things.
Well, you never know. I'll speak to Korg tomorrow and be like,
hurry up
and get me one, yeah.
Get me one. Anyway, chaps, one other thing that's happened this week is it's been Payday, which for me and many others means that I turn my eyes towards the gear available, and I thought that's what we could do on the podcast now. Post-Payday bonanza. Joe Branton.
Banana, then.
Yes. Banana. Yeah, I had a post-Payday banana.
I didn't eat my banana today. It's still in my bag.
You know what you do with it? Which is something I've done a couple of times this week. Freeze them.
Freeze a banana?
Freeze a banana. So,
why?
What I did was what do you mean why?
Why would you freeze it?
Because they're really nice cold.
Oh, okay.
What I did was I took the skin off, put a chopstick in it like it was a lolly stick, put it in the freezer, and then ate it.
Banana pop.
That sounds amazing.
It was well good.
That's how you make banana ice cream. Mush them up.
Yeah.
Freeze them slightly.
Yeah.
Then blitz them again.
Yeah.
And then you mix in nuts and that and banana ice cream.
Yeah. Or just eat a banana off of a chopstick.
I'm probably going to do that.
Don't bother freezing it, just eat it right now.
No, it's better when it's cold.
Culinary advice.
Matt Knight's cooking videos coming soon.
Just eat a banana.
Okay.
So Payday, we've eaten the
So
banana.
Payday. So Joe Branton, you put together a list of the best buys that you could find for under 250 quid, which we're sort of saying, yes, it's still an extravagant amount of money to spend, but realistically, after Payday, if you were thinking about splashing out on something just because you wanted to buy something, that's probably the amount of money that you would spend. Not like a considered purchase, like a USA Les Paul or something like that. Just, you've got some money, you want to buy something.
Yeah, you fancy something a bit different. Yeah, exactly. So, I guess we can kind of go through the guitars that you have that are rather good, that are available for that money. I mean, it's an amount of money that you could, reasonably spend on something that isn't necessarily going to be your main instrument. Something that you can try something new on. And I realise that we have things like the Bass 6, which would obviously be that choice, but that's slightly out of the price range because we are sticking to this 250 mark. Just because I think that £300 price point is where stuff starts to become serious. I think 250,
like, there's not much that falls dead on 250,
no,
but you then fall quite a way under, and then you're actually you know what, a couple £100.
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose in a way it is a lot, but to buy, you can buy a great guitar for that sort of money.
Exactly. Yeah, when you get to £300, I think I would. If I'm spending £300 on something, I need to think about it a lot more than I would do at spending £250.
I also think there is an awful lot of really great stuff for the £300 mark, and I think when we talk about budget stuff, we tend to talk about £300 mark.
Yeah,
stuff.
I think so as well.
And because of that, we don't talk about the stuff that's below this.
Yeah, because I mean, you sort of think £300. I mean, you could get a Bass 6, as you said. You can get that new Squire baritone.
Yeah, all the Vint Mod stuff,
the classic vibe stuff.
Yeah.
Even the isn't the Crush Pro, the new Orange Crush Pro stuff, the 60,
that kind of money.
Exactly.
I think actually it might be a bit more, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's kick things off. You've talked about Squire there. Joe, you've picked out a few of the Squire models that fall under that are perhaps a little bit different. I noticed on this list you haven't put like a standard telly or an affinity telly.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
you've probably got a nice telly already.
Yeah.
Or if you're lucky enough to have a nice telly, you probably wouldn't be looking at getting a cheaper version of that. What's on the list? What's the first thing you picked out?
Well, the first thing is the Squire Vintage Modified 51, which I don't think we've ever really spoken about.
I think I brought it up briefly when we spoke about the offsets. And the reason is that is kind of a weird guitar. And the reason I think it's kind of weird is because it kind of, as far as I can tell, I don't think it actually really is based on a guitar.
I was going to say, did it actually exist?
Well, I think no, it didn't. I think what it's based on is the 51 bass.
That's exactly what it's based on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's a 50, because if you look at the shape of it, it looks like one of the old telly basses.
Right.
Like kind of. And so it's, which is why it comes in butterscotch. I think it comes in butterscotch blonde, and I think it comes in.
There's a black one now as well.
Is there a black as well?
Yeah.
So
and a two-tone sunburst.
So it's I'm off memory. It's got a humbucker in the bridge and a single coil in the neck. So it's
and a weird control
and a massive
layout.
Scratch plate, very much like the 50s.
Yeah.
The 51p bass.
So the history of this model is a bit weird because I think they first came in with the pawn shops.
Yeah, it was a few years ago they did the first run of those, didn't
they?
The 72, or was there one before that?
No, I think it was the 51 and then the 72, but then Squire started doing one, a very cheap 51, and now they've brought it back in the Vintage Modified series.
Yeah.
It was like it sort of didn't go away, but I think they just changed it around.
Because the 72 had the two humbuckers, didn't it?
Yeah, that was the thin line with the two humbuckers.
Yeah, that was
it
very
volume
odd guitar.
No, was it volume and like a blend? That blend in the neck pickup?
Yes. The control out on the 51 is weird as well. It's two controls, just two knobs, volume, and then a three-way pickup selector. So it's humbucker, both, or neck. I don't think there's a push-pull in there. Jay, you might be able to correct me on this.
I can't. On the 72?
On the 51.
No, on the 51. You know what would have been
remember.
good with if as they were going for this 51 thing, if they hadn't made the pickup selection, the being able to have both of them, if they'd have had it as like the humbucker or the single coil with tone or without tone, like the
like
old
a
sort
52,
of,
a 50s telly.
Yeah. And that wouldn't have been hard to do.
But you could probably still make it like that if you want.
But at the same time, the other thing is,
and the new way is much more usable. It's just
that's the thing.
If they were going for that sort of authenticity,
and the thing is, I guess if you're talking about these things as like a secondary guitar or something that you might use as your sort of knockabout thing, are you really going to want something with like
no
weird tones?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing.
Absolutely. Well,
they do it in Candy Apple as well.
Red,
I didn't know that.
I just saw that as well.
So sorry, I was just bringing.
You're looking at the Squire version.
This is the Squire version.
Have a look at the controls for us.
So you've got pickup switching, three-way rotary selector switch, neck, bridge and neck, bridge, push pull coil selector.
Oh, there we go. So
yeah,
that will then split out the humbucker into two single coils.
It just gives you the It just gives you the inside coil.
Yeah, so humbucker or single basically.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you've essentially got normal telly layout, plus you've got a humbucker option in the bridge.
And these are hitting the shelf at like 228 quid as
they're
well.
They're super cheap. They're almost like that. It's kind of like they're halfway between the Affinity stuff and a standard, because they've got non-lacquered neck. They're just satin finish, and they're kind of pretty basic. I think
they are, but they look very kind of that sort of odd 50s boutique-y sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really unusual thing to be able to pick up for 228 quid, where you might not want a standard Strat or a standard telly, where those two things just aren't going to be as good as a vintage modified version or a Fender version.
Definitely.
I think that's the thing. That sort of under 250. If you've already played a lot of guitar, but you're like, I just need something else. You kind of want something a little bit different.
That's the whole point of this podcast, Matt. Is that if you've got 250 quid burning a hole in your pocket post payday, these are the things that you need to be looking out for.
Well, I mean, just in terms of like going for something just totally different, because if you've got a telly or you've got a Strat,
Definitely.
one of those would just be such a good choice.
Definitely. I mean, I think probably the biggest bargain on this list is the guitar we'll talk about next. Again, we're going for Squier. To be honest, they might have all been sold. They might have sold out by the time this podcast goes out. But if they haven't, one of the biggest bargains you can pick up is the Squier Joe Troman.
Yeah, that's right. It's been spoken about a bit on our Facebook group, and I think we probably mentioned it quite a bit on this podcast.
I think quite a few people on the Facebook group are actually showing off the ones they've bought.
Yeah.
We've not.
From us.
Well, it's just such a crazy deal. I mean, when these came out, we wouldn't have been able to include them in this podcast.
Yeah,
they
were
349.
I think they were 310. I think
Okay.
they were there. Yeah.
But they're worth 310 quid.
Yeah.
They're really great guitars. Yeah, the Squier Joe Troman Telecaster. We spoke about it probably last week as we were talking about the...
Well, I think we've been trying to push this bargain because they're so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So for people that aren't sure what it is, it's the Fall Out Boy lead guitarist Joe Troman's signature Squier Telly, but it's a kind of a 70s style Telecaster, but with an HSH pickup configuration.
Yeah, and again, things like kill switch and like a weird rotary control.
Yeah, so rotary, I think, gives you neck and then inside coil of the neck and middle,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really
and then inside coil of the bridge and middle, and
Yes.
then bridge on its own.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
If you want to see some pictures of those, like Joe was saying, many people on our Facebook group, or a couple of people on the Facebook group, have picked them up. So,
How much are we selling them for?
149.
yeah,
149.
They were 199 like 3-4 months ago, so they've come down again. But
Head
yeah,
over-
then you've got kill switch and the really nice satin neck on it.
Really
the neck
nice
feels
neck, yeah.
so nice on it.
It's a very premium Squier. It's the sort of thing we'd consider, up there with all the great
And as I think I said last week or the week before when I was talking about the rig rundown, I think he uses one of the Squier ones as like one of his main guitars.
I saw some footage of them play recently, and yeah, they were using all of the cheap or budget signatures that they've had made for them. They didn't look like they were non-stock ones. So he had the Squier. Pete Wentz had the Squier bass that is his signature model, and Patrick Stump had the Gretsch.
I really like that Pete Wentz
Stump
bass.
and
I was going to
the,
go with the bass actually. Yeah.
P bass with a
I like the
jazz
mix.
neck.
Yeah. It's the exact opposite of the Mark Hoppus.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I hadn't really
It's
thought about it,
quite
but yeah,
funny.
that is very funny. Do you reckon they were just like
They just
played a show one day and
Swap next one.
yeah, it's just like you can just imagine like Mark Hoppus and Pete Wentz just sitting there just like, oh man, I really like this bass, but don't really like the neck. I mean, it's the old Fender story though, isn't it? Like it's
Yeah, who were those two fellas who you guys were talking about?
who
swaps necks?
Clapton and Harrison do it?
That's it, yeah.
Well, no, I think the thing is that everyone, like all of those guys, I think like the Esquire that Jeff Beck played had a telly neck from something that Jimmy Page had or something.
Right, okay.
Weird.
But like it's just like that's just the sort of funny Fender story, isn't it? But like I mean, I'm sure that is more what actually happened with these two fellas. But
Yes. There's one more Squier on the list, which I can't believe is under this price. I want you to confirm it. 228.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Vintage modified
Double check
Cabinetta
whilst we're
Telly.
doing this, yeah.
Now, for those, we talked about them a lot, but for those who don't know, Cabinetta Telly, what's the background to these, Matt?
It's basically Cabinetta, which I'm sure we spoke about a lot.
Yep.
Started off as a custom shop, then they did the American ones, then they did the Mexican ones, and then they were like, yeah, well, follow suit. We might as well do a Squier one. The pickups in the Squier one are the same ones they put in the Mexican ones, and then this one is TV Jones or Fidelitron, they're kind of Gretsch style pickup in the neck, but then a telly in the bridge with a licensed Bigsby.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
No. That's the other model.
Well,
and actually, those
they're
ones
the same price.
They're
They?
not. No,
No.
I've just looked it up. They are 264.
Yeah, this
So
one.
I-
The one with 2 Fidelitron pickups is 228.
It's 228.
Yeah, I mean for 264,
I'll knock you off the.
I was gonna
14
say, if anyone wants it, just speak to me or Matt, and we'll pay the £14 extra so that you can get one of these fans.
Wait, you'll pay them?
Well, we'll do it cheaper, whatever.
Let's take Jay up on that first offer.
You need to.
If you want to buy one of those, Jay will personally pay £14 towards
I will
it.
post you 14. No, I won't. But no, they're so good with the Bigsby. They're banging.
would you definitely get that over the dual Fidelitron?
I think if you want something different, yeah. I think
that's got to be the cheapest guitar on the market.
Is it just have one volume?
Mate, a Bigsby bite that
no
was
tone controls.
Someone
volume
can.
tone?
What?
Is
Their
it volume tone?
No, I think it's just volume.
Just volume and pickup
That's
selector.
what I really liked about it. Unfortunately, they have volume tone on the other one, the 228 one.
I'd almost be tempted to rewire that to just tone, and then because you just want the volume up all the time on full.
Yeah, but when do you ever
not
change
want the tone all the way up?
Because tone is actually really useful
When?
when you're not Jay Cross.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Tone comes from your fingers, mate.
It comes from all the pedals that I plug in.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's in your
that as
rig.
well.
It doesn't matter whether the tone's on or off.
Doesn't even matter if the guitar's plugged in sometimes.
Nice. Ends up sounding like a hairdryer going through a Super Nintendo either way.
What plugged into? Oh,
that's just the lead.
It's just the air.
I could just imagine you walking out to do a gig and just holding the lead and just pushing the end to get that, and then you put it through loads of pedals
Well,
and
I
that's
did
your
that
gig.
once, didn't I? With my mate, with
Yeah,
Robin.
Robin.
We did that band.
Oh,
where I
yeah.
just had the jack
I did
lead.
it. I put you on,
Yeah,
didn't
you
I?
put us on, yeah, the
I
advert.
recently went to see the synth player from a band called MBMR, called Andy Selby, doing a solo set of like loads of synth stuff, and a lot of the set consisted of him pressing a jack cable into the veins of his wrist and clenching his hand and releasing it. And
That doesn't make any odds.
yeah,
does it?
it did. It was like there were certainly weird sounds coming out the other end with all the weird stuff it was going.
Well, so he was basically controlling
Yeah.
it with his pulse.
I don't know. Sort of maybe what it was touching when all
Maybe
the
he's
muscles
got like
contract
maybe
and
he's
release.
got like a metal plate in his arm.
Maybe he's
Possible.
Magneto.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe he is.
But going back to kind of going
Guitars.
back on track, kind of. Well, actually, no. Back to just what Matt was saying. Actually, you remember that video we watched of the fella who had the Boss? What's the Boss bass synth?
SYB5.
The SYB5,
Oh, yeah.
the SYB5
Into
going
the
into the
Space
Space Echo. Like he literally didn't. I don't even think he had anything plugged in. He just went nothing. He went from the pedal jack into the Space Echo and then just turned it on.
Really?
And just started making noise.
Wow. Who was that?
Just some video I found of I was bored at home one night, and so I decided to look up videos of Space Echoes.
It's funny though because when I had the old one, the tape one.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There's something about the way that they oscillate that just no other delay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the RE20 is great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Jay. It's an awesome pedal. But that when you hear that tape and you can suddenly just start hearing it come in, you're just like, and then you're watching it going around, it's just going and speeding up, and you're like, this thing's so cool. Oops.
I can't believe you're so animated about the RE20 that you actually just dropped an expletive bomb. I'll bleep it out, don't worry. It's fine. Okay. Let's move on.
How far in are we? Are we like 30 minutes in or something?
We are, yeah. And
we've talked about 3 guitars.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on then. And do you know what? Something that I think is super underrated, Epiphone Studio.
Yeah.
And also, could you get the regular dot in the
299, I think.
But what do they
for
still
the
do a matte finish regular dot?
No, I don't think so. I think this is the matte finish.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, this is
That's a gloss finish.
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Okay.
What about the how much was the Tom DeLonge? Can you still get them?
£333.
For a while, I think
Really?
they ducked under that price point, but they've gone back up again.
I wasn't sure if they were the same
So
price
it's like
as the Studio or not.
That's funny because it's like it's like how they started out. Because that's the ES333, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And they're
that's weird.
333 quid.
Yeah.
which
wow,
is
how bizarre.
Which is like, that's why the ES 335s are called 335s, because originally
they were
335 quid.
Excellent way of keeping a price point.
Yeah, just name your model. Hi, this is the new Fender £625.
That's like it's like Minor Threat putting the price, like printing the price on their records.
Yeah.
Do not pay more than $5 for this. I can't imagine Fender or Gibson ever like printing "do not pay more than"
on the guitar.
Yeah. Do not pay more than a grand for this guitar or something. Yeah.
Anyway, so the reason that I like these and the reason I think they're underrated is that you could totally do a gig with these.
No doubt.
Really well put together. The pickups in there are totally fine. Like you could certainly upgrade them, and that would be maybe the only thing that you might think about upgrading. But for what sort of price are they again?
£229. So again, well within.
Plenty of volume if you're playing them acoustically. So a good guitar to have around the house. And everyone should have a hollow body at some point. Again, if you're a telly player or a Strat player, you're going to get something so different from getting a 335, and this is probably the cheapest way that you'll be able to get anywhere close to an actual 335. Can you remember what finishes they come in?
Just one, and it's cherry.
Yeah.
Just cherry?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, again, a kind of classic look. Uncovered pickups?
Uncovered pickups and no scratch plate.
And you've just got single volume and tone.
That's right, and it's just dot inlays and stuff. So
I would imagine that something that adds quite a lot of the cost to something like that actually is putting the extra controls on, because we all know how difficult it is to get inside the hollow body and put extra volume and
tone in. Do you reckon
after
a while they work out a decent technique and they can just
there isn't a decent technique. I've spoken to so many guitar techs about that, and each of them has got a completely different method, and they all say it's an utter nightmare.
I was talking to someone about it this week, and I think he thought I was insulting him when he said he had an Epiphone Dot and he wanted to change the pickups, and he said, "Is it easy to do? Is it something I can do by myself?" And I was like, "Mate, it's not easy to do. We've got a guitar tech. He'll happily do it. He won't happily do it for you. He'll do it, and he'll curse your name the entire way through the job. But he'll do it." And the guy was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh no! Like, sorry, I didn't. Like, he won't actually curse you." And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Thanks, man."
I don't want to be cursed.
Well,
and then he walked out, completely bemused.
Yeah, I what I actually meant is it's really hard to do. Like changing the controls and stuff on a 335.
The thing is though, if you look at pots now, right, they're quite small. But the ones in the 60s came in massive housings.
I don't understand how you get that through the F-hole.
I think last week when I mentioned that guy bought in that 60s Epiphone, and honestly, the pots and the actual casing around them was so big, I don't know how it actually went through the F-hole.
I
suppose you put it through the pickup cavity, don't you? Because it's hollow underneath the pickup cavity, so you probably feed it all through that, and then you just feed the pit.
Did they not like fit them prior to fitting the top?
No. All the electrics go in after the tops.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why on some, because some they're like, if you took the pickups out, they're drilled just through, and there's like a hole, and they feed it all through that hole. Yeah. And then they have to hook it all through the F-holes and bring it up.
Yeah. I know how they do it. I know how they do it, like retrospectively. I didn't know if like it was possible, at point of manufacture, if they could stick the top on afterwards.
Well, interestingly, coming back to the Tom DeLonge, that is why the 333 exists, because it was Gibson's way of making a cheaper 335 by cutting a control plate in the back behind the controls, which is what the Tom DeLonge's got, because it's based on a 333.
Oh, right, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did a 333...
So that was I assume the 333 was...
an old model.
No, and just what the Tom DeLonge was.
No, it's based on something that they did, I think, for the first time in about 10 years ago. They released a cheaper 335.
Was it single pickup?
No, it was two pickup, and the only difference between that and the standard 335 at the time was that they fed the pickups and the control and the electronics through the back.
It's only £2 cheaper.
Yeah. I think by that point, 10 years ago, a 335 wasn't 335 quid.
Gotcha. Okay, fine.
But anyway, let's do one more Epiphone, and something that I think, again, must have been in the catalogue for about 10 years now. Epiphone faded G400s. Now, I mean, the G400's been around forever, but they started doing these faded models to get them under this kind of price point. What are they coming in at?
I don't have that screen open. Do you need
I'm sure they're under 200.
Yeah, I think they're under 200
I
quid.
think they might be.
199?
They're great. I think they're a brilliant. They're another one that for me that's a bit like the 51 in that it's something that looks really cool and is, you know, if you don't own an SG, this is an incredible.
I think the nice thing about the G400 is the one that looks closest to a standard Epiphone SG.
Yeah,
because they do the 310 and the SG specials, and they look like really stripped back.
Well, they're both bolt-on as well, aren't they?
Whereas G400's like set neck, and it just looks like a proper SG.
They are 229.
Well, there we go, 229. Still a bargain for that kind of money. Again, if you wanted, I mean, what's the cheapest American-made SG now?
The SGJ.
499.
Okay.
SGJs, they're not too bad.
But
you take a hit on the classic looks, and that's one thing this is why I chose this one over. I mean, there are a load of SG models that are under 250 quid in the Epiphone catalogue. I specifically chose this one because
it looks like an SG.
It looks great, yeah. It looks like a proper Gibson SG, and for that sort of money, why not? If you wanted an SG and you know, just to kind of kick around on, why not get one that looks the part? And
well, it definitely
does.
Doesn't it come in faded brown as well?
That's the only finish, yeah.
Oh, is it? Because they used to do a faded cherry.
Oh, they might do as well. Oh, I might be wrong. Well, certainly I thought it was just a faded brown now.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks absolutely brilliant. So it looks like the SG specials that you can.
Yeah, totally. But they're covered pickups, aren't they? So it looks proper.
Yeah, it looks very premium.
Should we do maybe a couple for those more of a kind of inclined towards the metal?
Well, I
think
actually
Jay Cross has probably got.
Just before you do, I actually thought of a couple more while we were talking.
Okay. Hit me.
Based on the sort of talking on the dot, there's the Washburn HB32.
Oh yeah, they're really nice.
They're really, really nice, and they come in my favourite finish, which is what Matt Knight is on a Tuesday after the weekend, which is distressed matte.
Totally HB32.
Like every now and again, if Matt's traditional days off are Sunday and Monday, and on Tuesdays I was off today, so I didn't experience it. But like on Tuesdays, he's quite often just a bit of a nightmare because he's so stressed walking around, and it never fails to diffuse the tension. Where if Matt's like spent an hour or so walking around, sort of going like, I'm annoyed, I'm stressed, I'll just go and grab an HP32 and just hand it to him and walk off.
And I'll play some rocking chords on it.
Distressed Matt.
And the HP32 is
you'll go from distressed to de-stressed.
But yeah, so I think the HP32 is a really, really cool, like, again, simple sort of. It doesn't look great, you know, in terms of what you would expect from a hollow body in general, but they're absolutely banging. The other one that I thought of real quick was the along those same sort of lines was the Ibanez AF55.
Okay.
Which is 239. Again, it's sort of in terms of looks, it's kind of no frills, but it's the big
another jazzy sort
of like a bit. Well, it's like a bigger body
it's in a
jazz box.
Different way though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a much
so I just think that they're really, really cool as a sort of you know, entry level jazzer. You know, you've got your big sort of trapezoid bridge. So you can get that sort of jangly sound out of it, but they're quite dark voiced. So that's a really cool one, just as a you know, along those sort of lines. And then completely on the other side of the spectrum, for 242, so again less than 250, you can get a Schecter Omen 7.
I can't believe we're in a place now where you can get extended range 7 strings for under 300.
Oh, and ones that are actually really good. Like
exactly.
The build quality on Schecters is unbelievable.
I had, I think, what was like the first sort of budget Ibanez 7 string.
RG7321.
Everyone had a 7321.
Yeah, I know, it is weird that I had a 7 string, but I had one of those like when I was 15. So how old am I now?
Did people even play?
Well,
Korn even playing 7 strings.
Well, that's why I bought one.
Yeah.
Like, wait, no, maybe
how else was he
14.
supposed to play his Mudvayne covers?
I must have been 14. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I would have been 14 because it was that last Korn record. Actually, it probably wasn't the last one, but Untouchables, I think it was.
That was 2003, wasn't it? Untouchables.
Oh, I love that you know the release year.
I would have been 14 in 2003. Yeah. I think.
No.
Wait, no.
You would have been 13 in 2000 because you were born the same year as me.
87. Oh.
2000. I think.
I think it came out late. Anyway, it doesn't really.
It does matter. Korn matters.
When you when corn does matter. When you said the last corn record, that reminded me that I think the last corn record was like a collaboration with Skrillex.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So something for everyone to check out.
Anyway,
that,
but anyway, the Ibanez 7321 was a bit pony because like they kind of only just come out, I guess, like the budget range of the 7 strings, and the the Omen 7 is a viable option for like
absolutely
like a budget extended range guitar. I think they're cool.
Absolutely, especially now that companies like Bare Knuckles are making 7-string versions
great
of all
point.
their pickups.
Perfect for modding, and in fact, we should say that pretty much everything on this list, if you're into like modding and taking more budget guitars and messing around with them, then these are all perfect. Like the Joe Troman, for example, you could get it for 149 quid or whatever they are, spend maybe 150 quid on pickups, and you've got an absolutely banging guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we talk about some amps?
Yes.
And I guess, Matt and Jay, this is kind of your field, really, because you would have played on more of these than either Joe or I. And particularly the first one, the Blackstar ID15 TVP.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know a huge amount. I know, obviously, we're a Blackstar dealer now, but I've not had much time to sit down with them and try them out.
I've just been absolutely blown away by them. They are so good.
I'm all about these.
TVP. True valve power. I had to think there for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, true valve power. To be honest, a button that you would turn on and then never turn off.
Okay.
And I said that to F. I was like, why don't you just leave it on all the time? And he said, well, if we left it on all the time, then people wouldn't
It wouldn't
realise
be a feature.
It wouldn't be a feature. So basically what it does is on the amp you can model a preamp type, so like warm, clean, warm, bright, or OD, or combo. But then you can model a valve type, which is where TVP comes from. So you can model 6L6s, 6V6s, EL84s, KT66s. So if you want to model like a twin, you can set it to like warm, bright, and then you can set 6L6s.
Okay.
And then it gives you, and to be honest, it sounds like a valve amp, but like, I know it sounds ridiculous.
The thing is, this is like a kind of a guitar amp for people who are really nerdy about guitar amps, because you kind of need to have a bit of prior knowledge about how guitar amp and how valve amps work, and like the difference between a KT88 and an EL34. And that's what kind of makes it kind of cool and kind of interesting. And as you say, the sort of thing that you might pick up if you've got like a couple £100 and you just want something a little bit different.
Well, this is it. Crucially, this is leaving you with £50 in your pocket from our sort of budget. $199.
I mean, the amazing thing is for that USB plug into your computer, you can use it as an interface. Free software. The amp opens up in the software, so you can edit it all on screen in real time.
Any effects built in?
Yeah,
you've got 12 effects, 3 modulation, so phaser, flanger, tremolo, and chorus, 4 different reverbs and 4 different delays, and you can have one of each of those selected at any one time.
Wow.
Unless I think when you plug it in, I think you can maybe layer a couple on top of each other.
No, you can do. Well, you can do. Yeah, you can have a reverb and a delay and a modulation.
Oh, okay. So you can't have. Okay. The other thing that's banging about these is it does what like the Boss E-band does, and what those Tascam guitar trainers do.
Yep.
So when you plug in, you can plug a song, plug like a WAV or an MP3 over, and you can slow it down and it will pitch correct.
Yeah, via the software.
Interestingly,
cool.
the GT001, which I've just watched your demo of, that will go up at this some point over the next couple of weeks, does that as well.
Same thing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That's so good, man, because like that was such a unique feature to like for ages for like the Tascam. Well, I mean, like. I remember the GT CD or something like that.
The CD GT1.
There we go. So that was the thing that you could put a CD into the thing.
Don't we have one?
And it would slow it down. And it's like, that's like a CD. That's bonkers. And it was well expensive.
I assume it wasn't actually slowing the CD down.
No, of course it wasn't. But like,
just like putting your finger on the CD.
I mean, that's obviously not what I meant at all. But like, but like that was quite like complicated software, and you look at like the Boss E-band, the
JS10,
were
a couple £100.
I think
those
you know,
CD
and now
GT1s.
you can. This does it built into the amp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fancy it. We've still got the GT100 CD, 100-watt practice guitar amp with inbuilt CD trainer.
That's the weirdest product. Do check that out on the site. I would love someone from the podcast to buy that and just let us know what they do with it. It's called the CD 1000, right?
I think it's CD 100.
It's one of those things that's going to be so collectible in 20 years. It's going to be one of those amps that everyone
The thing
wants.
is, I unboxed it and clicked open the top like I used to on an old CD Walkman and went, wow, I haven't done that since about 1998.
Someone please do buy that amp. Anyway,
it's literally been in our store for years.
let's do another couple. The ones in particular, the reason that I'm asking this is I am thinking about getting a guitar amp for home. I really want a Blues Junior. I can't afford it. With some post-payday cash, I might be able to get something under £250. Matt Knight, tell me about the Laney Cub 12R.
So, like you say, you want a Blues Junior. You spend less money. The perfect amp. 2 inputs, 12 watts and 1 watt. Well, that's right, Jay. So, yeah, if you want to use it at home or you want to record it and just crank it all the way up, you can put it into the 1 watt input and turn it all the way up.
Reverb?
You've got they do a reverb version and a non-reverb input.
I don't understand.
How much are they?
Like £230?
£249. If you get it with the reverb, £249.
And you get a sweet £1 change.
That's ridiculous. $249 for something that's kind of doing the same thing as a Blues Junior.
Not only this morning, I was walking to work thinking.
Great as well.
Yeah.
I was listening again. I talked about it last week, but I was listening to the Wampler podcast, and they were talking about how good Blues Juniors are, as we do every week. And I was thinking I just need to get a guitar amp for home, because at the moment I've got the ME80 but I'm using headphones and it's just a bit of a noise. I want to be able to plug a guitar in and make a bit of noise.
And you want to go into a valve amp, really.
I want to go into a valve amp, and I was kind of thinking when you were talking about that the Black Star then, I was kind of thinking that seemed like a good idea, but if it's got effects built in, I feel like I'm paying for something that I don't need. I think maybe a much more kind of basic amp would do it. What are the controls on the Cub 12?
You've got a 3-band EQ. You've got I think you've got 2 channels. Do you have 2 channels?
Not on the Cubs, no. Okay. Single channel.
So single channel. You've got volume, gain, 3-band EQ, and reverb.
Okay.
The thing that I really like the look of though, which Matt didn't realise we did until I just showed him,
including this,
was they do a head version.
Do they?
They do.
How cool is that?
And they also do a matching cab. Now both are, the head is like 220. I think the cab is not much more, but for less than $500, you've got like a banging
$500.
Yeah, $500 McLean.
Okay.
There's his brother from Mask.
Oh yeah.
You've got an absolutely banging little stack.
I just had a thought though, because that's got an effects loop on it. Has the combo got an effects loop?
I can't remember.
Because if the combo's got an effects loop, you could go ME80
into the
output
effects loop.
into the return of the input on the effects
full
loop.
cable method.
No, not even
won't
that.
full cable.
So no, not full cable. It's just that you can use the preamp from
the ME80.
From the ME80,
so just use the power amp.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If there is a small practice amp that's valve and will allow me to full, I can't full cable method because the ME80 doesn't do it. But
does it not?
No.
Oh no, of course.
It's only just got in and out.
Yeah.
I think I might buy a Cub 12. Oh,
Yeah.
They're so good, man.
What about Tubemeister 5 combos?
I've got one of them. Doesn't have an effects loop.
No, but are they over 250?
I think they're 299.
I want to spend less than that. Okay, let's do one more amp. I think the thing that has been the kind of most like, you've got some money kicking around. You don't really need to buy this, but when you see it, you just want it. The orange Micro Terror.
No, you went for that over the Hotone.
The Hotone is amazing. Let's mention the Hotone quickly. So the Nano Legacy British Invasion 5-watt guitar amp
Now I
head.
put that on the list, but they actually do 3 different heads.
Yeah. So they're smaller than. They're smaller.
I think
shoe.
They're smaller than a shoe.
Picture. I took a photo of one in my hand in the office. I think I put it on Twitter. I'll put it on the GAC Facebook
It's probably
group
like
on the guitar.
the size of a can of Stella.
Yeah, it's probably about the.
It's probably about the size of a small beer can.
Yeah.
And they're 5 watts, all valve.
No, they're solid. Oh no, wait.
No, they're not all valve. It's
a valve preamp. It's a valve preamp.
Yeah.
Valve pre. Okay.
Same
the Micro Terror.
Same as the Micro Terror. Yeah.
Okay, fine. But they do 3 different flavours: British Invasion,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the other two are. I think there's a Vox AC copy, and
I assume a basement.
Don't they do? No, they do like a little. Is it called like Purple Haze or something?
Yes,
like that?
The Purple Haze. So it's a Marshall sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Have you plugged these in?
I have. They're all right. They're not like. They're not. I don't think they're blowing anyone away. But for the money,
Magnum better.
Actually, that is worth pointing out.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
You had the caliber 22.
I had the 22 caliber, and I don't think it didn't do what I wanted.
Do you know what
it
really works for? It really works. So, for example, same thing with the ME80, or I sold one to a guy in the warehouse bought one, and we had a chat about it. Who's got an Axe Effects because they're no power amp, just out of that sits on top and then into a cab.
Yep.
So
that would work.
Perfect for that. Or if you get two of them, you can then power amp two cabs.
I tell you what I like over the Hotone is the Moore.
The Moore ones, they do practically the same thing.
They do, yeah. They're a little bit bigger.
They're slightly more robust chassis though.
Yeah. I just really liked the idea of carrying my head to practice in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean that is amazing. But then, at the same time, would you rather have one of those, or would you rather have the orange Micro Terra?
Yeah,
I'd definitely go with the Moore stuff because the Moore are all valve.
Yeah,
they do the AC
flavors as well. Yeah,
they do the AC and they do an AC and they do a BM, which is a basement clone. I less than £200. I think they're banging.
The thing is, I in a way would kind of have a Micro Terra with a PPC 108, and then.
Sorry, I accidentally trod on my phone, and Siri came up and heard something that someone said.
Orange Micro Terra, shop at GAC. Yeah, just one of those in a PPC 108, and then just have it in the living room because they've got an auxiliary input, so you could have a little music player.
I'm torn now.
Do you remember when you did that video demo of the little Micro Terra and you put it through a 412?
I remember massive.
The first time I ever did anything like that, and the best it ever sounded was Jimmy, who works in our mail department, when he worked in the store. We had some of those smoky cigarette amps, and we ran one of those through a 412, and it just sounded wicked.
But it sounded what?
Oh, wicked.
The Micro Terra's got a similar vibe though, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, plug into a 412. If you've got a 412 at home, you're like,
I just need a small head for a laugh. Yeah. I'll go with this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, solve my conundrum. Should I get a Laney Cub 12R, or should I get a Micro Terra and a PPC 108, which is the matching small cab?
Oh, that would look so good.
Cub 12R.
But the orange would look so good at home.
Yeah, but the Cub 12R
is so much better, isn't it?
Much better.
You could actually gig the Cub.
Are you looking? Are you just looking at the space where I'm probably going to be
I was looking at
amp?
which guitar it would match.
Oh, because you've got your pink.
I don't think I can have a bright pink guitar and a bright orange amp. That's just the clash. The clashing is too much.
I would have the Laney because I think the Laney would just be.
They're so much better.
I think it would be better if you took it out and gigged guitar. Then you didn't take the ME8. You've still got a decent little combo. But if you want to use the ME8, and you've got.
I'm going to come to the shop tomorrow and try out a Laney Cub 12R. You better have one waiting for me.
I will.
Excellent. Good. Okay, let's do... pedals we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. I mean, you can't apply the same 250 thing, but...
No. Okay, so let's say you want to get a pedal, you've got £100 to spend. Let's pick two each.
Maybe they should be unusual, things that people aren't necessarily
something that you might not think, but you might not already have in your rig, like a tuner or, a drive pedal. What are people going to get? Joe Branton, two pedals for under 100.
Why am I going first?
Okay, Matt Knight.
Can I say M5?
Yep.
Line 6 M5.
I mean, that's the whole point.
Just having that one twice.
Yeah, two Line 6 M5s. Because everything is in one handy unit.
And they're what, £85?
£85. Actually, you know what? I'd have a separate drive pedal. Are we saying 250 for under?
No, we're actually saying one pedal, £100.
Yeah, one pedal for under £100, but you can name two of them.
Yeah, I would say M5 and just for a good drive. Do you know what? I would probably say like DS1. They're just good pedals.
Yeah.
I know they're not unusual, but if you're like, do you know what? I just need a good cracking drive pedal.
J Cross.
I'd say
you can't say RE201.
I know I can't. RE20. I can't.
Sorry.
I would say if you want to spend under £100, on a cool drive pedal.
I just thought something else.
No. You've got to wait for me.
Mojo. I know it's boring. I know I say it all the time. The TC Mojo I think is great. I really, really like it. And I lent mine to one of my mates. I've literally just remembered whilst looking at the picture, going, because I had a band practice yesterday, but I was playing bass. So I went to pick up I grabbed 2 pedals. What 2 pedals did I grab?
Tuner.
And
I don't know.
RE20.
no.
I mean, why would you ever need more than the tuner on bass?
Well,
Oh, the that weird one that you've got.
no.
Of course.
The Sans amp was actually what I got.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Not the harmonic percolator.
No.
Grace, one of the other guys who we work with has borrowed that. I don't think I'm getting it back.
No.
Which is annoying because it's like a 250 quid pedal.
Yeah, it's very good.
But no, the Mojo. I think the Mojo is great. If you've got a good guitar and a good amp, the thing I like about the Mojo is it's just a really, really cool, transparent drive pedal.
Yeah.
I think you could easily substitute that for Maxon OD9. Again, similar sort of thing. Probably a little gainier. But yeah, really, really good. And if you want something weird, just to sort of go with it, maybe the what's it called? The Moore, whatever the Blue Sky.
Oh, the Skyverb.
The Skyverb.
Yeah, I think sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. This is actually the first time we've actually mentioned budget pedals, because kind of almost giving us this £100 budget is a bit too much, because
Well, £100, I think,
£100 is quite
a while ago used to be like a super expensive pedal if you went over 100 quid. Now, I would say most pedals that we recommend are between 100 and 200 quid.
Yeah.
Because, a delay pedal is 120 quid.
Yeah.
And, those are the kind of pedals we've been recommending. So
Which
it's good
is
to
why-
actually have to think, like,
Yeah,
okay, I've got 100 quid and I just want to buy something.
And I think companies like Moore and Hotone are really where they're coming to play.
Yeah.
Very,
I've
very
thought
Isn't
well.
that- yeah.
two more, but
Yeah,
interesting
well,
ones. So
well,
I'm going to wait for Joe.
Yes,
And
because
but
you
he's just going
definitely
to talk about a couple of boring compressors.
Joe Branson, do
neither
two.
are compressors. you are definitely going to steal this one from me. So the Moore Mod Factory.
Oh yeah.
No,
okay.
but
obviously
good.
has to. But
That's
I mean,
definitely a good shout.
60 quid, and and
100%.
you've got all your modulation sorted out in one very, very convenient footprint.
Yep.
So a definite must for anyone, I think, really, because it's such an affordable pedal, and it takes up so little room. Everyone should own one. They're just such a great essential.
Yeah.
And the other one we have spoken about before, for how good it sounds on guitar, actually, more than bass, despite it being a bass effect pedal. The Digitech bass synth one.
I hate you.
Was that your
That's
one?
going to be my choice.
£35.
Oh, you've taken both of them that I was going to say.
That's because they are probably the two of the best value for pedals.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Value for
If you
money
want
pedals out
to, if
there.
you've got a fairly standard rig already, and you think, I listen to these 4 idiots talk about pedals every week, and I just want to buy something weird and fun just because I want to buy a pedal, I think those two would definitely be obvious choices. Like the Mod Factory's got so much on it, and you could squeeze it onto any pedal board. And the bass Synthwire by Digitech, even though it's a bass pedal, it sounds great on guitar.
Better on guitar.
It just sounds like nothing else, really. It's a weird combination of synths and filters and wah stuff all in one.
£35.
They're 35 quid.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, how
We've
much?
got
How much?
brackets of them in at the moment.
How much? Like, if you, I realise that we get a bit of a discount because we post so much stuff. But if we went to the shop, if we went to the post office with a pedal that weighed that much and posted it first class, how much would that cost to post?
Fiver? Yeah.
More than that. About $7.50 if you sent it first class.
Really?
recorded. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So if you're sending something
No wonder
first
no one
class
uses the
recorded,
post
oh yeah,
office.
of course, yeah, could record it because everything we ship is
Insured,
tracked.
yeah.
So if you're sending that's like
Nearly a third of the
that's
pedal.
ridiculous.
They're amazing for 35 quid. And
sorry,
there
and just-
was
I
a
was just
time when
looking
they
at
were.
the-
There
I
was
was
a
just
time
looking-
when they were 79 quid
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So
I was just looking at I haven't really spent any time with the Mod Factory. So the effects that it's got on it are chorus, flanger, phaser, envelope phaser, tremolo, stutter, vibrato, univibe, auto wah, touch wah, and envelope ring modulator. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's crazy, isn't it, for the price tag on it? How much are they?
60 quid.
60 quid it is.
Matt Knight, what were your other two, and then I'll do two that I've just thought of.
I was like, do you know what? I think I was put on the spot, and I was like, I couldn't think. MXR Blue Box.
Yeah, I thought about saying the
so
Blue
good
Box.
because it's cool. It's 8-bit. It's weird, and I would go for a Flashback Mini because there's so much you can actually change with those. They're under 100 quid.
So much of that stuff falls under 100 quid, doesn't it?
Have we got any time factors left? Because I really like the time factor. I thought that was an absolutely wicked...
Wait, time bender?
Time bender, sorry. Sorry, I'm looking at the...
Do you want to fact the time or bend the time?
I want to bend the time.
Good. While you're looking that up, let me just do my two. So,
discontinued.
First up, Electro-Harmonix East River Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a cracking pedal that got completely overshadowed by the fact that the Soul Food came out at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, the Soul Food is unbelievable, but I figure so many people will have bought those and got those in their rigs now. People should definitely check out the East River Drive.
Definitely. I especially like it because it sounds like a road name.
It's based on a road. I think it is actually based on somewhere in New York.
Yeah.
It's based on East River
called
Drive.
East River Drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of tube screamery, but like a little bit less mid-heavy. I think it's got a kind of bit more of a nice recorded tone to it. One of the best looking pedals. It's got a picture of the New York skyline across the front of the pedal in green,
and the LED is green as well.
And the LED is
you
green.
sort of know what you're getting at when a pedal's green. You kind of know what you're getting at.
Yeah, you know where they're going.
Yeah.
The other one, and it might not actually fall into that price point. You'll have to check. Electro-Harmonix Random Tone Generator.
Oh yeah, they're like.
They must be under 100 quid because they're so bonkers.
I worked out how to use one in your rig and make it usable.
Okay.
What, in Mark's rig?
Do you want to?
No, not in my rig in general.
There's no pedals in my rig, not even a tuner. Matt Knight, for those who don't know about the RTG, just
oh my word, £40 and 75 pence.
Do you want to just explain what the RTG is?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain in words or in noises?
Well, maybe
noises.
not noises. Go with words.
So it randomly generates, I think,
A tone.
A tone.
boop, boop. Basically does that. I think there's 8. Is it 8 tones? It just generates
irrespective of what notes you play.
No.
It's got no input.
It's got no input. It's just an output.
What?
It's based on a pedal they actually made in the 70s. That just basically 1980. It just basically.
Of course, it was 1980.
It cycles through about 8 different tones
randomly,
and then there's a speed control. But we did ring it through a Space Echo, and it sounded amazing. But then what I realised was, what if you're playing guitar and then you just want random tones, but through all your pedals? You buy an
ABY?
you buy an ART cool switch.
Or a MXR the MXR loop.
ABY.
Loop
No,
thing.
loop box
Surely
different.
the Switchwblade Plus.
Or the Switchblade Plus.
Anything
where you
that's
can
what I
have
was
2
thinking of,
inputs to
sorry.
one
Yeah,
output,
yeah.
and then you just stomp
blend
on
it
it.
in.
It cuts your guitar in, and just brings in the random tone generator through all your
Can
pedals.
you use an ABY in reverse though and have your guitar and the random tone generator going through the pedals?
You certainly could.
Matt's face is just.
Have we got any in stock?
Well, in that case, you just leave it on all the time. Or like, this is quite an interesting one. One of my friends came in earlier in the week and was asking how sometimes probably more Joe than probably Joe. Sometimes you'll see a band and they'll stop and tune, but they'll leave a loop going, so like there's still noise going on whilst it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when me and Mark go and watch a band, like
The tuning is
they
part of
either
the
don't
entertainment
stop
fee.
they don't stop to tune, or they'll just be like, oh yeah, we've
just got to tune
just
now.
got to tune.
Bear with us.
Someone go and buy me a beer. That'd be really cool. And that will happen. But if you're watching like a band who cares about what they sound like they'll usually like a loop will carry on. One of my friends was like, how do you reckon I can sort of do that, like without buying? Because I don't really want to spend like 150 quid or whatever on an RC3 just for like that part, or like you didn't want to buy like a looper just for that. Like you could spend 40 quid on that, and that would be brilliant. Like you've got like that sort of ambient noise going round.
I'm gonna get there first. I can do it first.
I thought you were going to get there first.
Oh yeah, no, it has
before.
been announced because Jay posted it up on Facebook today.
Yeah.
The other option is you could go and buy an RC1.
I can't believe it's taken this long. I assumed Mark was going to go for it.
Less than 100 quid. They're 99 quid,
I
aren't
know.
they?
No, they're less than that. £79,
I think they're
I
£79.
believe.
Yeah.
So
the
you
other
can
option
now
is
get a loop station that looks the absolute nuts. It's probably the coolest looking
Yes.
loop station on the market.
and and
79.
basically Boss have sort of stepped up to like TC and Digitech, who've released these sort of budget loopers.
Yeah, the Jam
and
Master
they've.
is-
I mean, we spoke to Boss about this probably 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Basically,
so again, I know-
basically, it's our doing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
It's all us.
we spoke to Jay and Jeff from Boss, who are two of the guys who are involved quite heavily in sort of product, like relation, like I don't know, they do stuff for Boss anyway.
They make stuff happen.
They
They're the
were
guys
like,
who
look,
can.
what do you reckon we should? What do you think we need? And we were like, just a budget looper, and they sort of were like, yeah.
I've just imagined a rig in my head that's going to sound amazing. The RC1 is stereo input. So in
Is
input,
it? I didn't realise.
yeah,
this.
it's
Okay.
stereo input, stereo output. So in input 1, you put a
Oh,
random
yeah.
tone
Yes.
generator.
Yeah.
And then you go guitar through all your pedals into the second input of the RC1. So your guitar,
Oh
you
my
can still
word.
play.
Okay.
So you can still play all your pedals and record the pedal noise.
Yeah.
Because if you put it at the front, all your pedals would affect the loop.
Yeah.
So guitar, pedals, RC1, and then in the second input, you just put the random tone
The
generator.
RTG.
You,
Yeah.
know how Boss made the RC1 after we complained about the RC3 not being as cheap as some of the other loopers.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think really now it should be up to Boss to make an RC1 that has a random tone generator in it?
Yeah, so they're following everything that we're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that actually one feature I do really like is the actual display for the loops.
Oh, it's
when
incredible.
You record, it just
Incredible.
It spins round.
Yeah.
So basically,
time.
it divides.
I've not seen. I've not.
Yeah,
actually
it looks
seen
like
one.
something out of Kit.
So the only control on the pedal is level.
Yeah.
Like the
Ditto
Ditto looper.
yeah.
Next to it is a small dial that just says loop, I think, and it basically, when you do your first loop, it records, and then
Oh, and it shows you.
how far round you are the loop.
Absolutely
Yeah.
genius.
Yes,
Absolutely
Oh, and
genius.
it's battery powered,
yes, and it will take batteries.
which none of the other little micro loopers do.
I mean, I'm not sure about that though, because like the batteries will not last very.
I don't know.
Are they 9
but
volt?
then
Yeah?
think
Yeah, it's 9
ME80.
volt.
Think how long batteries last on an ME80.
But that takes double A's.
Yeah,
I
no,
thi-
but
I-
just in
Oh,
general,
right.
like.
All right. Well, let's say that you're going out to do, for example, you're going to do an hour or 2 hours busking. I think you'll easily get 2 hours out of it.
Yeah.
And you could, you just take that. You don't need to think about your power. You could take that and a microcube,
Oh, okay.
or street, or you could take a Volto. Yeah, but we don't need that now because
We
this
do
will
when we're
take
taking a random
batteries.
tone generator. Can you busk with a random tone generator?
Yeah, I reckon so. The world's most annoying busker, and that is saying something. So there we go. Yeah, I mean that actually, thinking about it, it's not out yet, but you could, if you've got some money burning a hole in your pocket, just put a pre-order in for an RC1
Yeah.
because they look
that's
awesome.
brilliant. That's really good.
Joe Branton, we haven't got time to do all these bases that you've listed,
No, I
unsurprisingly.
figured not. Let's leave them.
Let's do one.
Okay.
So if someone, let's say a guitarist, is looking to get a bass.
Number 2.
Yeah,
Number 2?
wait.
Well, number 2 is probably the most topical on this list. Number 3 is definitely my favourite.
All right, well,
Yeah.
let's do number 3.
Number 4 is definitely the most popular. I'm going to do those 3, but I'll do them super quick.
Okay, do it.
Okay. So, the most topical one, I think, at the moment is the Gretsch G 2220, the Junior Jet Bass 2. Now, guys, can you tell me why it's incredibly topical?
Because it's cheap.
No. Why? Come on, Matt Knight.
Is it because the guy from Royal Blood played one
Yeah,
first,
that's right.
and then he
It's-
moved to the Starcaster?
Has he moved to the Starcaster? Certainly, Fender have endorsed him and released a signature Starcaster for him. But does he play it for about half his set? Yes.
Okay.
The rest of the time, he's still using
'Cause
the
I remember
Gretsch. Check
that-
out his
I-
Reading set.
I
All
remember
their
when-
singles were done on the
Did
Gretsch.
they buy that from us?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
bought it from us because he bought a black one. I think, were you
Yeah,
there
do
when
you not remember? Oh, you weren't there when he came in. You went, yeah, I played a gig last night, and it was just in half.
he was literally he was like, can this
Wow.
be fixed? We were like, no.
You might as well just buy another one there. How much are they?
He wanted they're just about 200 quid.
Yeah, we were
and
like,
he
you might as well
wanted
just buy another one.
he wanted another one, and we didn't have it in black, and he really wanted black, and so he had to buy a Sunburst, and he's still playing that
The Sunburst
Sunburst one
one.
now, which was not even the colour he wanted. this guy's in Royal Blood, who have a #1 album, and he's playing an entry-level short-scale Gretsch bass in a colour that he didn't really like.
I just think it just shows how good.
Two intricate guitars
come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, you can hear those things, on all their live sets and on their records. It sounds absolutely.
I listened
brilliant.
to the record, and the record sounds absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's a testament to that guitar, and I think as a guitar you can pick up for less than £200.
Yeah.
A bass you can pick up for less than £200. Absolutely, why not?
They were on Soccer AM this week.
Were they?
Yeah.
You know you've made it.
You know you've made it when you're on Soccer AM.
I'm waiting for
Forget
my
the
invite.
#1 album. You're on Soccer AM.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He was wearing Benji, the drummer.
Yeah, Benji.
He was wearing an Albion shirt on Soccer AM. Good old
He's
boy.
getting a Hawk shirt.
Good old boy.
Getting down to those.
Good old boy.
The other two, which I'll very, very briefly mention, I think, is the Hofner Ignition bass. Just we've talked about them before, but just because Hofner have introduced this very, very affordable version of the violin bass for sub £200, which I think, just for anyone who is thinking, as we were on the line of trying something different, it's maybe not something that's going to be usable across all genres of music, but God, wouldn't it be cool to play some Beatles covers on an actual violin bass? And you can do it for less than £200 now.
Worth mentioning, the Gretsch and the Gretsch is short scale and the Hofner Ignition is medium scale. So if you're a guitarist who's looking to dabble and you've got a couple of £100 to spend, those two would be ideal because you're not jumping right up to the full, long scale bass.
Definitely.
Do the violas come with flays?
They don't. The Ignitions come with round.
Okay.
In fact, you don't see flats on them until you get up to the HCT Club Series stuff.
Okay.
And only then on the Cavern spec.
Only then on the Cavern, yeah. The standard comes with round still, which is very weird. I think the first thing you do is put a set of flats on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other one, slightly less relevant, I guess, because we've been talking about odd things, but certainly just because it's probably the most popular bass of the last decade since they've been making them.
I actually think I remember you telling me this, Mark, when I bought my one.
Yep.
I think it was Fender's single highest selling.
That's right. We've spoken about this before. More
Out of
than any guitar.
all the brands that they distribute and all the brands that Fender own, it was. I forget which year it was, but it was the biggest selling thing that year.
Because they only did it at the time. They only did it in the one finish.
Yeah, which was gorgeous. Which was they did it in what we're talking about is the vintage modified.
I was going to say,
70s.
I don't think you've actually even said what we're
sorry.
talking about.
The Squire vintage modified 70s jazz bass, which at the time they did in natural with a black scratch, a maple neck with black block inlays, and crucially, when this came out, there was virtually nothing you could get entry level in a maple neck that was a bass.
Yeah.
To have block inlays on it as well was amazing. There was nothing with black block inlays at the time. And then this natural finish and a black scratch, it basically looked like the 75 reissue jazz bass that they did at the time, which was over £1,000. It looks like a jazz bass deluxe, which is again £1,500.
I loved my one. It was great. I changed the scratch plate to a white one.
I don't know why you did that.
I thought it looked cool.
I thought it looked cool, but when I installed it, I sort of installed it a bit skew whiff. So it was. So that was actually. I think you installed it. A bit skew whiff. Yeah, you installed it a bit skew whiff. I didn't do it at all.
Just they're just worth mentioning because they're.
Yeah. You did, yeah.
You had the 77. You bought the 77, didn't you?
I had that,
very similar.
but when I first went out, when I was playing bass for a while, and I took Jay's out and gave myself a bad back because I didn't adjust the strap.
They were
really low for
they're rather heavy because they were made out of maple. They were completely maple, so they were weighty. But as you say,
great bass.
Exactly. I mean, loads of guitarists were buying them because it looked amazing. It was affordable, and it was actually the real deal. You weren't buying a short scale like
sub 250.
Yeah,
because they weren't when I bought it. I think it was 273 when I bought it.
Right. Yeah, 228.
I think they've changed the specs slightly, or they've done something that's made them. They've brought them down under that price point, but still a cracking bass.
Yeah, they were so good, that bass.
Still very, very nice. We've got one more category. Is there anything? Joe, you've just written accessories.
This was kind of like for us to discuss, which we didn't. So we could move on.
I don't think we've got time, but I mean, can anyone think of one thing that maybe people should be buying if they want something a bit different? They want to mess around, maybe sub £100.
Ebo.
I was going to say Ebo, exactly. Ebo.
I'll go even more affordable than that for bass players. Try
a pick.
Try a Plectrum.
That is affordable.
Try a set of tape wounds. Buy some nylon tape wound strings and pop them on your second bass and give them a go because they're really cool and it's just a completely different sound and really fun to try out.
Along a similar line, I would say try the D'Addario Balance Tensions.
Balance Tension is exactly what I was going to say.
Because they have changed my bass playing world.
If you buy the Junior Jet bass,
It also
you'll have money
snaps
left
the
over
nut
to
on
get
your
some.
bass, didn't they?
No,
No?
not me.
Isn't the low E like a 120?
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
50 to 120s. The heaviest bass strings that don't feel heavy at all.
Yeah.
It's very weird, the Balance Tension stuff.
Yeah, I really want to get a set for mine.
They're very nice indeed. Should we do some staff picks?
Why not?
Matt Knight, what have you been playing that you think people should try out this week?
Everyone should try out because it's awesome, and it's just different enough to add yet another delay pedal to your pedal board, and that is the Korg SDD 3000, based on the old. Because everything's kind of, I think I'm noticing a shift from analog gear to people now modelling old digital gear.
Yeah, it's definitely come around, hasn't it?
It's started to happen because the SD.
All of this has happened
SDD3,
before.
yeah,
And all of this will happen again.
And it was an old rack mount unit, delay unit, that was famed for use by the Edge, everyone's favourite, because it had an analog preamp in it, and you can actually turn off all the delays and just use the analog preamp. So he used to go into that, drive your signal into a Vox AC30.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having a buffer, or like a Soul Food or something like that, always on, like the Echoplex preamp on in your front end, which you can adjust. But the cool thing is you've got an input and an output attenuation, so you can drive the input but then keep the output down, so you're not actually kind of like anything too loud.
So you're not just turning the effect level up.
Yeah, and because it was at this point where digital rack delays were kind of really clear and really dynamic, but they still had this but the technology was still a little bit old, so it was this half analog, half digital sort of thing. So it was digital repeats without being so hi-fi that it sounded. Do you know, like some delay pedals now, all the repeats are so bright, and everything comes back to exactly the same as you put it in. It sounds, I don't know, it just sounds a bit weird. And these have kind of just got this little bit of like top end roll off, and it's just that in a wicked pedal form. You've got, I think, 128 presets, loads of really cool delay sounds, like all the stuff from the SDD 3000, but like Cosmic, which is like all the pitch shifting ones. So you can set an expression pedal when the expression pedal's down. All the delays will have a repeat of a fifth down, but when you put the expression pedal forward, they'll all shift up an octave.
It's like having a whammy on the delay.
Yeah.
So
there's some wicked stuff you can do with that, and
awesome.
It's all MIDI controllable now, so, and there seems to be quite a lot of people on the Facebook group getting into MIDI, so...
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of MIDI and switching and stuff going on.
I'm into it.
J Cross, what have you been playing this week?
Something that sort of came out of the blue, I think, a little bit, that I wasn't really expecting to be into. But I really am, because it's kind of more... Well, it's... So they've redone a really limited version of the JCM 800 in the Silver Jubilee finish.
I think the day that it came into the shop, it was General Rock's day off, and he came in just to try it out.
Did he?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Well, General Rock is the nickname for one of the fellas who we work with, called Chris Webster. And he is he's General Rock. He's into General Rock, and so we call him the General.
He's the General of Rock.
He's the General of Rock. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It is just. I mean, the reason that I normally wouldn't go in for it is because it's something that's exactly the same as something that's already sold, but in a different finish.
Yeah. And
they charge a little bit more for the different finish. But it looks so good.
Yeah.
It really does look so good. So it's just a standard JCM 800. But in the, it looks like one of the old Jubilees that they released, that they reissued very briefly in the AFD, the Appetite for Destruction, the Slash style.
Yep.
And oh man, it does. It looks so good, and it's a JCM 800, so it sounds good. And yeah, I don't think they've announced how many of these they've done.
I think they're not strictly limited edition, but they're just not doing very many.
It's just kind of like the FSR stuff, where
exactly
they'll just be like, yeah, we're going to sort of do them until, whenever. Don't buy it because, don't buy it just because it's limited, just buy it because it's cool.
They're a bit of a weird one because they're not a strict reissue of the Jubilee stuff. They're just in that finish.
No, it's not a reissue of the Jubilee series at all. It's just a JCM 800, just
in the same finish.
And so it just, oh man, they look so good.
I'm all about the chrome faceplate on it. Looks amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
So I plugged that in and just sort of played both the chords that I know, and it sounded great.
Joe Branton, what have you been playing this week?
Yes, well, this week, a backstory to this week's. When I started working here, I said
it was the worst day of all our lives.
Yes, yeah, I know it was bad. I know. I'm sorry, but when I started working here, I said to Luke, one of the purchasers, why don't we do Hofner as a brand here? And he was like, well, they're just not very popular anymore, so it's not really something we're interested in. Like a year later, he finally listed the Ignition series Hofner violin bass. I think because someone who worked here wanted to purchase one, and it ended up being listed on our site, and we sold a few. And so
turns out super popular.
Yeah, after a little while of us selling this one bass, he kind of agreed to list the other one as the HCT. We got that, and a little while later, when that did well, we got the Cavern Spec violin bass. And then last week, I messaged him with another Hofner bass that I was interested in trying. You know, would there be any chance that you would consider ever listing this? And he had a review of how Hofner sales have done since he's listed them, and sent me a spreadsheet of their rocketing sales since they've been introduced, and agreed. And then this week we have included nearly the entire Hofner catalogue in guitars and bass on our website, finally, after all this time. And the one bass that is finally on our books, which I really love, is the Hofner Very Thin bass, which is a short scale. It's called the Very Thin because it really is exactly that. It's a hollow body,
super thin,
but it's like as thin as an SG.
Yeah.
And it's a big sort of wide bodied, so sort of 335 style body shape, but short scale, and with two of the very sort of Hofner style humbuckers in really extreme positions, one right on the neck, one right on the bridge, and it's strung up with flats. It comes with flats as standard, and you know they're sub 600 quid, and they just look absolutely amazing, and they sound brilliant for something just really vintage looking, sounding, that's really well built but still very affordable as far as those sorts of instruments go.
What sort of money are they?
600 quid, 599.
Wow.
I believe, which is brilliant for something like that, when you consider the sort of the prices that you pay for. I suppose Gibson would be another company you'd look to for those very, very vintage style things, or anyone like Fender or Gibson, the sort of money they want for their top end things. It's just a great vintage reissue of an old Hofner bass, and for anyone looking for a really traditional sounding bass, really check them out, because it's not the violin bass, which is kind of the only bass Hofner are known for, but it really is very, very good. It sounds absolutely brilliant.
We need to move on and do some questions. Matt, you need to go and get your train. But just quickly, my staff pick for this week is the Focusrite iTrack Pocket, which is a stereo mic and interface for iPhones. It looks like a little cradle, and it's got a really good stereo mic built in. You sit your phone in it. Focusrite have done this app, which basically uses the front-facing camera to capture the video, and also shows you a waveform of how your recording's going in, and shows you your metering and stuff, and will post directly to YouTube from the phone. It's just a really cool bit of kit. Under 100 quid, they're 79 quid.
It's really good for doing YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's just made for that. And it's got an electric guitar in, and the app has got some amp modelling in there. So if you want to plug your Strat in or whatever, you can just do that, and you select the AC30 setting, and you've got a really good modelled AC30 sound. And J-Cross, it's got mic and electric input at the same time. So when you're writing your emo ballads, you can get a nice electric guitar sound, and you can record your vocal through there at the same time.
Oh, very nice.
Which on most of the sort of iPhone interfaces you can't do. They haven't got a mic built in, or they're just a mic and they won't have an electric guitar.
So it's kind of like using your phone for like a Zoom Q3 kind of thing.
Exactly. But it's also almost like a kind of stand for the phone as well, so you can get a decent kind of camera angle and everything set up. Yeah. Let's do some questions. We've had questions in first via email, podcast@gak.co.uk, and on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/guitar nerds group. Do come and join us on there and send in your questions via either of those. First up, Jamie via email says, "Hi guys, thanks for the podcast, been listening since episode 1. I've got a question about noise issues on a Marshall JVM 410 head. On high gain channels at gigging volume, I tend to find I get a loud squealing noise, not just standard feedback. My question is, I've already got a Digitech IPB10 in the amp's effects loop, which includes a noise gate. Mostly fine when I either bypass the IPB or I accidentally choose a patch with no gate, then I get the squeal, which is awful. So he's thinking basically of getting another noise gate in the loop to stop him getting some squeal. Any thoughts, Matt Knight?
Yeah, it's a weird one because I'd imagine when he says squeal, does he mean is he using a lot of gain and then he's getting feedback from that?
I would have thought that's what that meant. That's
he says
really high pitched, like the sort of squeal you'd get if you were playing like a really high gain sort of metal style drive.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running like an IPB10 in 4 cable method, then in theory, couldn't you set 2 effects? I suppose maybe you can only have 1 noise gate on at a time.
Yeah, I think it's probably limited to 1
but
noise
having
gate.
1 in the noise gate should be fine unless you're using a lot of drive pedals in the front end.
One in the
effects loop, yeah. And then that should cover it unless you're using a lot of drive straight into the front end, then you'll need a noise gate at the end of that as well.
What about noise gate? So if the IPB is running in the effects loop, what about a noise gate in the front end? Yeah. So guitar, noise gate, amp, IPB10 and out.
I don't think I've ever seen a rig using 2 noise gates though. I don't know how that would work with one another.
Or maybe just not use the noise gate on the
go through the effects loop, you know.
But you want to use it in the effects loop because you want to go between the preamp and the power amp, and if all your gain's coming from the preamp, you'd want to use it that way. Because one in the front end of your amp is at the front end, you know, after all your drive pedals, is only going to gate the noise from all the drive pedals. If your amp's then got tons of gain as well.
Jamie, I would say my one question would be totally depends on what guitar you're using as well. I've occasionally had problems with certain guitars, I mean particularly with single coils, but things that have had a lot of squeal with high gain. I think what Jamie should do is maybe come join us on the Facebook group and post up some pictures of your rig and show us exactly what's going on. Yeah. If you can get some video up there as well, then
maybe
we can
a little drawing
we can
of what's
diagnose.
So, yeah, that's weird because you're having a noise gate there full stop. Maybe you just need to mess around with the noise gate a bit more.
So do come over to the Facebook group and post up a bit more info and we'll go from there and hopefully sort your question out. Okay, Edo via email says, I've been really excited about the Vox Mark 5s, the bass in particular, but there's nothing on the internet about them. My local dealer hasn't got them either. I was wondering if you pick one up and how they play and sound. I love the shape and the fact they're 30-inch scale. I'd like to throw some flats on there in a rock and in a garage rock band. Joe Branton, any thoughts?
I mean, there's kind of, you know, we've got them listed on our site with plenty of info. We've never done a demo of them actually because they're not something that we standardly keep on the shelf because surprisingly they're not that popular.
It's not a huge demand because these are the teardrop shaped ones, right?
That's right, yeah. To an extent, yeah, they're a more squared out sort of teardrop.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
With
yeah,
a very, very oversized scratch plate, and then they have a single coil right up on the neck and right down on the bridge, so it's quite an odd pickup configuration.
Yeah.
For a bass as well. I completely agree with him. Shoving some flats on there, it would be the ideal way to go. I mean, they're a relatively entry-level product from Vox, so it's going to be more about the look than, they're not going to play as well as a even something like a Mexican jazz bass. But then
if you're putting flats on and playing in a garage band, surely you just want something to thrash around.
Exactly.
I mean, I would say just go for one.
Well, this is kind of the thing. It's like if you're looking at something that's shaped like this, then really playability and comfort is not your number one.
Sometimes, and also sometimes even without trying things, you've got to just make the jump. Like I did on that pink Aria, that ridiculous Mosserite style guitar. Never played one, just bought one, and I mean, it's an okay playing guitar, but I mean, it's the best looking guitar I've ever seen, and you guys all agree clearly.
I wish I got there first.
I mean,
I think that silence says everything.
No, it is. I'm not really into the colour. Like the colour is. Aesthetics are never really something that. Yeah, I mean, if I realise again, I sound like a broken record, but if it had been in white, I'd be like, yeah. It looks
there are several colours.
No, Jay's talking about the pink Aria.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm moving back over to that. Because Jerry played a white one, didn't he?
Yeah, it didn't look like that. It was like a different shape, but yeah.
It was
I love how you first name bassist the Ramones.
No,
the guitarist.
Wait.
Oh.
No, you just named the singer.
Sorry,
Johnny.
Sorry, yeah, Johnny played one, didn't he?
He did. He did play on Moss, right? Moog via the Guitar Nerds group says, "What about wireless guitar rigs? What's the best for around 300 quid? Line 6 or the other one that escapes me right now? Two options really. Line 6 Relay."
Line 6 Relay and the Shure. But I think the Shure is just over 300 quid, isn't it?
But the Line 6 one's the one with the foot pedal tuner?
No, that's the Shure version.
That's the Shure one,
Oh, right. Well, that one then.
Yeah, I mean...
The Shure is the Shure, by far, I mean, I'd spend the extra, I think they're 379, but the Shure one is just better. A lithium-ion battery, so it's rechargeable, lasts longer... all metal construction. The pedal tuner's metal.
It's a really good tuner as well.
The receiver is a really good high quality tuner that sits on your pedal board, powers up for your normal 9 volts.
After seeing Baby Godzilla, I'm strongly considering going wireless.
Yeah,
I mean that's one of the bands you saw at Arc Tangent.
Oh, sorry, those are the guys who rode their cab in the.
Oh yeah, sure.
But it's just it can sit on your pedal board. It's just there like any normal pedal. You power up your pedal board. It's there. The Link Freak technology just means that once you've turned on the transmitter, it will find it straight away and you'll never lose signal. They're just really the best ones.
I think we should wind it up there because we've got one more question, but it's going to be a bit more of a long-winded one. I think we should answer it next week when we're not hours over time. Thanks for sending in questions this week. Please continue to do so either via email, podcast@gak.co.uk, or actually join us on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Guitar Nerds group. You can talk to us and we will answer your questions. You can post pictures or just chat to other podcast listeners about their stuff.
Guitar Nerds.
Or you can join us on the regular GAK Facebook page, facebook.com/GAK Music, or on Twitter, twitter.com/GAK_co_UK, or for people who know how to use Twitter, @GAK_co_UK. Or you can talk to me this week. I want to hear about your favourite games of the Super Nintendo @Mark_Random. Jay Cross, how can people get in touch with you?
You did it all in one
hit. You
hit.
made the whole way through. You haven't done that in weeks.
Yes!
He might sound seamless. He leaves in all our mistakes. He edits out his own mistakes.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Like whenever we say something stupid.
If you want to edit the podcast every week, you're more than welcome.
I have no idea how to do that.
No, that's true.
No one
you
else
can barely
wants to
play
do it.
guitar, let alone edit a whole podcast about guitars.
I can barely talk, let alone tolerate my own voice.
Exactly.
Jay Cross, you've only got to talk for 20 more seconds. Tell people how they can find you.
Shoot me an email, j.cross@gak.co.uk, or talk to me on Twitter if you want to do that.
About all of Tottenham Hotspur's amazing transfers.
About all of the fellas that we let go over the last 5 minutes of the transfer window. JAYBN1.
Matt Knight, have you got to rush off, or can you tell people how they can find you?
I'm going to stand in Joe's microphone. Hello, Joe.
Hi.
If people want to get hold of me, you can email me, matt.knight@gak.co.uk, and we can talk about how wicked London is and every time I have to get the train. Or you can tweet me on the... Oh, actually, I'll probably be on the train next time you tweet me, but you can tweet me, Matt_Knighty. That's Knights with SIE on the end. Nearly screwed it up.
Well done.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Matt.
Good, safe journey.
See you later,
Joe
Matt
Brandon,
Knight.
how can people find you?
Well, you can email me. Yes.
That's
I hate when he starts a sentence with "well,"
You
because
never know where it's going.
A, it's going to be boring. B, it's going to go on for ages, and C, like it's just Well, no, those are the
All right,
two things.
fine,
At least you haven't prolonged it.
Look, I'll keep it brief. So you can get hold of me at joe.branton, that's JOE.BRANTON at, that's the at symbol, not the word at, so just the at symbol, GAK.CO.
Is that how you spell dot?
Dot, just the dot, just the conventional full stop, if you will.
Right,
Okay.
CO.
That's period for our American listeners.
UK.
Good.
Or you can tweet me at Joseph underscore 900. That's it, I'm done. Go.
Okay, good. Thanks very much for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week for more guitar-related shenanigans.
Cheers everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Baby, can I hold you tonight? Told you the right words at the right time.